Welcome to the Buffalo Stampede. I'm Derek Swanson here with head coach Mark Wetmore, who's going into his third decade at the CU Cross Country and Track program here at Colorado. And Coach, I want to talk about things leading back to last fall and through the spring, through track and cross country. Overall, I have to say a very successful season.
In our sports, there's always excitements and disappointments. One has to be a month or two out of it all to weigh the balances, but my overall feeling of the last year was all good things, mostly good things.
Well, let's start with one of the best things, which was the repeat of the cross-country championship for the men. Back in the fall, in October, the men repeat. You won now 2 in a row championships on the men's side. Talk about coming into your second season in the Pac-12 and continuing the tradition of winning that championship.
Well, the Pac-12 is a formidable long-distance running conference. We left a good one, the Big 12, but the Pac-12 is even better. When you're facing distance deep programs such as Oregon and Stanford and Arizona and Washington, it's never wise to presume that you can repeat, let alone in a year when we replaced the entire varsity. If I'm not mistaken, we ran a completely different scoring 5 in 12 than we did in 11. But they're tough guys. They're Buffalo distance runners, so they know what's asked of them, and rose up and got it done. So we're happy with that, and many of them are back this year, so have reason to be excited about 12.
I thought that was really impressive, the fact that you win the championship in 2011, then you replace all 5 scorers, and then you win it again in 2012, led by Blake Thoreau.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect to do that in any conference, let alone the Pac-12. But those guys took the race right up to the front. There was some sort of synergy among that front 5. They held on hard and got the win. And I should say, I said that leaves us to be optimistic about 12, but 12's come and gone. It's 13 that we're still optimistic about.
Well, let's talk about 13. That's going to be right down the road here at Coal Creek Golf Course in Louisville, Colorado. You're going to have the third championship in our backyard. Talk about hosting that, and it's going to be televised live on the Pac-12 network.
Yes, we're very excited about hosting down in Coal Creek. People have asked me, why don't we host at our place? And the frank answer to that is our place is too difficult. Our opponents would leave feeling that they were homered at an unfair level. So we moved it over to a place that's a little more forgiving to our guests, but still challenging. And Coal Creek people have been great. They've pretty much opened the doors and said, do what you need to do to put on a great event. If I'm not mistaken, that's a municipal golf course, and the city of Louisville has been behind us all the way. We've been planning already for a year and a half. There's still a lot of work to be done to create a great, fair course that's fun for the athletes and accessible for the spectators. But it will be a great event. When Boulder hosted the USATF Cross Country Championships, I think it was in 2007, there were estimates of 10,000 people there. So this will be a special cross country event. It will have as many spectators as probably an NCAA championship will.
Well, speaking of the NCAA championships, the one in the fall of 2012 was in Louisville, Kentucky. You guys went in ranked 7th, came out with a 3rd place finish. You also placed 3rd in 2013. This race was led by Jake Hers and Eric Van Halen. Talk about pulling down a 3rd place finish there.
Well, making it to the podium is always one of our goals. We feel as a program that emphasizes distance running, we should be pretty high in the top 10 year after year. 3rd is nice, but 2nd is better and 1st is best. So we're not done yet.
Well, let's talk about the women's side a little bit. I mean, Shalea Kipp and her senior season really has been your leader. More of a rebuilding year, would you say, for the women's side?
Well, Shalea was our top runner in cross country last fall and then redshirted indoors and outdoor track. As you know, probably she's already over in Europe working her way to the World Championships in Moscow in the Steeplechase. But she will get no rest because we need her this fall. We can't be good without her. We're very good without her. So whatever happens in August, she'll come home and have a couple days down and go back to work. And absolutely, we're looking for her to be our race leader and our peacetime general and our wartime general.
So later in November, you were named the Pac-12 Coach of the Year for the second straight year on the men's side. And I know you're not a guy that loves a lot of personal accolades, but that really is a good feather in the cap for the program, coming off of 6 men's all-conference runners and 1 female all-conference runner. That's just good PR for the program.
Well, I'm glad it's good PR for the program, and I'm happy to be to get that honor, which is bestowed by the votes of the other coaches. So to have their respect, to get their votes is always gratifying.
So in February, freshman Carrie Vernon goes over and competes in the National Cross Country Championships, the Junior Championships, and gets 3rd place. Is she really the future of CU Cross Country?
She's a cornerstone of the future. If she decided to become a skateboarder or to join the circus and run away, we have some pretty good people here now and some very good people coming in, and we would be good. But she should be the next leader of our team when Shalea moves on in 11 months.
Let's talk about track now a little bit. Joe Morris was a name that a lot of people that follow CU track are going to be familiar with. He broke the 60-meter dash record several times this spring. Talk about Joe Morris and his contributions.
Joe is probably among the 3 best short sprinters we've ever had at CU, joining Jeremy Dodson and Cliff Branch from quite a while ago. Joe set a number of records that Jeremy had set, and then had a good season, scored well at the conference, advanced to the NCAA finals. I don't know what's in his future. I hope he finds a way to continue, because I think he has room to grow still as a sprinter.
Joe is a heck of an athlete, and he joined another great athlete in Emma Coburn at the Millrose Games in February. Emma went on to win the indoor mile, I believe, at that event, 6th fastest NCAA time at the Millrose Games. That was quite an accomplishment.
Well, Emma, I think, was 4th at the Millrose Games, but that was an event that included post-collegiate professionals. She was the first collegian in that meet. She broke 4:30 in the mile, which has only been done by a handful of collegiate athletes. Went on to the indoor NCAA, where she broke 4:30 again, and I think was only the 2nd person in history to do that twice in one season, en route to winning the indoor mile, which was a bit of a surprise because she's known as a steeplechaser and maybe thought of it as a steeplechase specialist. But between the indoor 4:30 miles and the national championships and then the outdoor 4:06 1,500 meters, I think she proved that she's a diverse, versatile, capable athlete.
So from indoor track, we move outside. Sophomore Eileen Gehring is a name that a lot of us aren't familiar with, but she's really an up-and-comer in the 200 and the 400 meter runs.
She broke our long-standing school record in the 400. That, as a sophomore, also ran some of the top CU times ever in the 2, and every reason to believe she'll keep getting better. She's from the Midwest, the cold northern Midwest, so has a great work ethic, is not intimidated by winter here in Boulder, willing to train out in Potts when it's at the Potts field when it's 20 degrees. And no reason to believe that she won't continue to set records. When she leaves here, all of our longer sprint records will be hers.
You talked about the steeplechase a couple minutes ago. Between Jenny Behringer and Billy Nelson and Shalea and Emma and now Eric Van Halen, I mean, CU's really dominated that event. 6 NCAA championships in the last 8 years. Why is CU so dominant when it comes to the steeplechase?
I really think it's just a matter of legacy and momentum. The young people see Billy in the Olympic Games, or they see Eric winning the conference championship. Young women watch Jenny or Emma or Shalea on television and are attracted, interested in CU at a level maybe beyond another school. So one thing leads to another, really, and we actually have 2 women joining us this fall, 2 former high school girls that are joining us in September that have some experience in the steeplechase and interest in the steeplechase, and both of whom are arguably more accomplished coming out of high school than either Jenny or Shalea. So I guess we're kind of on a roll, and I don't mind.
Well, that role carried over into the Pac-12 championships this year, where, as you mentioned, Emma and Eric Van Halen both capturing the championships. That's got to be another feather in your cap to have the men's and women's steeplechase champion at CU.
Yes, and again, in that conference, it's a good conference. It's not like dominating the steeplechase in the Bluebird conference. These are top-level distance runners. So it's prestigious and fun to keep in-house.
On to nationals then, and then Eric and Emma both competing at the NCAA nationals in the steeplechase. Eric earning All-American. He's just kind of seemed like he came out of nowhere for the casual fan of all of a sudden now he's winning the Pac-12 title and being an All-American.
Well, Eric was not a heralded high school runner, but I could tell that he was talented because he attended a very small private school in California with not a great distance running tradition and not great training venues. And so that his times were unspectacular maybe just meant that he was a little under the radar. We were happy to talk to him 5 years ago and have him join us. I knew he could be a good runner. And then it was a matter of him maturing, hardening up, as I say, year by year. And as we speak now, he's over in Europe on the European circuit with the other pros and semi-pros, putting his toe in that water. So yeah, a great story, great kid to have with us, and he'll be around. He'll be here as a post-collegiate, still in Boulder, still training.
Well, let's wrap it up by talking about Emma Coburn. I mean, what can you not say about Emma Coburn? She was a six-time All-American. She wins the steeplechase for her third NCAA championship. Ranks right up there with some of the amazing runners you've had through the program.
Yeah, if I had to stop tomorrow, if track and field were made illegal by the king of the world tomorrow, you're right. She would have to be listed in the top 4 or 5 most accomplished athletes we've ever had here in my time. And not surprisingly, also in that same small number of most enjoyable to coach. She's talented, courageous, happy, humble, grateful. Just been a real pleasure to coach. I wish I could find 6 or 7 more years of eligibility for her. But she does now have a professional career in front of her. She intends to stay here in Boulder, working with Coach Burrows and myself. So one way or another, she will be around, and I'll still have that pleasure.
Well, the fall is coming up quickly. Tell fans what we can expect from CU Cross Country in the fall, and maybe drop a couple names to look out for.
Well, what you can expect from us is that we will be working as hard as is humanly possible to defend our men's title and recapture the women's title. You can expect a very exciting, dramatic competition on November 2nd out at Coal Creek. And keep an eye out. I hate to name anybody. You know Jake. Jake led many of our races a year ago. He's a year stronger, another year of 90, 100-mile weeks under his belt. So he'll be good. But same with Blake and same with Pierce Murphy. And on the women's side, Shalea coming back from whatever happens this summer, and Carrie Vernon. And then, honestly, we have very good recruiting classes, maybe the best recruiting classes we've ever had. Between 3 and 5 excellent men and 5 to 7 excellent women, a number of whom could impact our varsity. So don't be surprised to see some new names.
And the Rocky Mountain Shootout typically is the first chance for fans to come out and see it, along with the time trial?
We have a little time trial. I think it's August 31st. Anyway, it's the last Saturday in August. We take that low key, but those new folks will be in there. You'll get a chance to see them for the first time. And then the shootout is the first time we all put on uniforms. And that is, I think, September 28th, the last Saturday in September. And that's the first time we rest a little bit and sharpen our spikes and try to go. If you remember a year ago, Jake won that, setting the 3rd or 4th fastest time ever run on the course. So that September 28th meet is the time to see us try hard in a race for the first time in 13.
Well, good luck this fall. I know there's a lot of miles between here and there, so a lot of work to do, but we expect big things.
Miles to go before we sleep, yes. Thank you.
All right. Coach Mark Wedmore, I'm Derek Swanson for CUBuffs.com. You can check out all things Buff TV right here at CUBuffs.com.